Welcome back to The Learner. We are diving into another customized deep dive today, and I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic we've got lined up.
It really is. So, to start us off, I want you to picture this. You are, the lead actor in a live Broadway play.
Okay, set of the scene.
Right. The lights are hitting you, the audience is completely silent, and they are just like hanging on your every word. You're delivering the absolute most important monologue of the entire performance.
High stakes.
Exactly. And here's the twist. While you are pouring every ounce of your focus, your emotion, and your memory into that single moment, you are also somehow expected to be out in the lobby running the box office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you need to be like updating the theater's website. You need to be handing out promotional flyers to people walking by on the street, all at the exact same time.
I mean, it's an impossible scenario, right?
Totally impossible.
The human brain simply cannot exist in two completely different states of extreme focus at the exact same time. You're either entirely present in the performance, delivering the craft you actually trained for, or you're managing the logistical reality of the theater.
Right, you can't split yourself down the middle.
Exactly. Try to do both simultaneously and the monologue falls flat, or, the box office cash drawer just gets left wide open.
You cannot do both without one falling apart. And, well, welcome to the deep dive. Because today we are looking at people who are expected to pull off that exact impossible scenario every single day.
Yeah, they really are.
We are talking about the high-stakes world of the courtroom and the intense, often totally unrecognized friction between being a present, hyper-focused advocate for a client and simultaneously running a modern, competitive business that, honestly, never actually sleeps.
Because the modern professional landscape has, it's created this huge paradox for trial attorneys.
Yeah, how so?
Well, the expectation today is that you are perfectly, flawlessly present in the room when it matters, but also perfectly available, polished, and actively marketing yourself outside of it, like 24/7.
Which is just wild to think about. So to figure out how anyone actually survives this without, cloning themselves, we're pulling from this fascinating case study and article. It's titled The Digital Gavel, Ensuring Operational Continuity Beyond the Courtroom.
It's a really great piece.
It is. And we're looking specifically at the mechanics of a digital platform they highlight called moremax.net. So our mission today is to figure out how high-stakes professionals can maintain this flawless, competitive public presence when their actual job demands 100% of their mental bandwidth behind closed doors.
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this, because the underlying issue here is what we can call the hidden strain of courtroom demands. And it really comes down to the critical difference between managing your time and managing your mental bandwidth.
Yeah, that distinction between time and bandwidth,
Yeah.
that is the root of the entire crisis.
Oh, for sure.
What's fascinating here is that we often treat professional management as just like Tetris blocks on a calendar.
Right, like, oh, you have an hour free here, so you can do this task.
Exactly. You are scheduled to be in court from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., so society just considers you busy for those specific hours. But cognitive load does not care about your Google Calendar.
It really doesn't.
When an attorney is deep in litigation, they are processing incredibly complex verbal arguments in real time. They are reading the judge's body language, they're anticipating opposing counsel's next move, and they're recalling highly specific case law totally from memory.
Their brain is effectively running at maximum capacity. It's like a computer using 99% of its RAM just to keep the primary application from crashing.
That is a perfect way to visualize it. There is zero computing power left over. None.
Right.
But the harsh reality of the legal market is that while you are doing that intense, highly specialized litigation, the business itself does not pause.
Not at all.
Potential clients are still searching for representation. Emails are still hitting the inbox. Your firm's website needs to remain highly visible and technically flawless.
Which brings us right back to that Broadway actor analogy. You are trying to deliver the performance of a lifetime to the jury, but the business of the theater still has to run.
Exactly.
If you drop the ball on the business side because you're too focused on the trial, the theater shuts down eventually.
And in today's highly competitive legal market, any digital downtime is just fatal. I mean, we are no longer in an era where clients wait patiently for a callback.
Definitely not. They want answers now.
Right. If a potential client is facing a crisis, say they need immediate representation and they search for your firm, but your online presence looks abandoned or glitchy because you've been buried in a 3-week trial.
Yeah.
They do not give you the benefit of the doubt. They assume you were disorganized or closed, and they immediately move on to the next firm.
Wow, so just being out of the loop digitally for a bit can be disastrous.
Completely. Lack of visibility instantly costs a firm leads, it erodes client trust before they even meet you, and ultimately it damages the firm's overall reputation.
So how does a firm actually solve this without the lawyer just burning out? Because my immediate instinct, and I think the instinct of a lot of people listening to this, is to just throw more people at the problem.
Sure, hire more staff.
Right. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. When I was looking through the framework of this platform, moremax.net, I immediately wanted to push back.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, if a law firm is successful, they already have administrative staff. They have paralegals, receptionists, maybe a dedicated office manager.
Right.
So why do we need to bring in an automated digital infrastructure? Shouldn't the highly paid humans just handle the website, the marketing, and the digital presence while the lead lawyer is battling it out in court?
You know, that is the natural assumption, but it fundamentally misunderstands the value of human capital in a specialized business.
Okay, tell me more.
Human staff are far too valuable to be bogged down by the types of repetitive, invisible, algorithmic tasks that maintain a modern digital presence. It's really about the misallocation of resources.
So you're saying it's a waste of their time?
Exactly. When you use a highly trained paralegal to manually update website plugins or format metadata, you are basically burning money and wasting their actual talent.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You want the humans doing high-level human reasoning, empathy, and complex problem-solving, not button-pushing.
Precisely. You don't want them doing the digital grunt work.
But what are the specific invisible tasks we are talking about here that are so detrimental to human workflow?
Well, one of the primary areas is automated SEO and branding. Maintaining search visibility and brand consistency requires constant, tedious background maintenance.
Like what kind of maintenance?
We are talking about metadata, site speed optimization, and maintaining open graph tags across the entire digital footprint.
Okay, wait, just to clarify, for anyone who doesn't live in the weeds of web development, open graph tags are those invisible lines of code that dictate how a link appears when it's shared, right?
Yep, that's exactly what they are.
So if someone texts a link to your law firm to a family member who needs help, the open graph tag is what ensures that link generates a clean, professional preview image, a solid title, and a description.
Right, it makes it look polished.
Because without it, you just send a raw, ugly string of blue text, or worse, like a broken image icon.
Which immediately makes the link look like a phishing scam or a spam text.
Yeah.
I mean, the risk of broken metadata is massive when you are dealing with high-stakes client trust.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. It looks super sketchy.
It really does. Now imagine a human staff member, someone whose actual job is to summarize depositions or prepare trial exhibits, having to manually check, format, and update that HTML code every single time the firm publishes a new page or updates a bio.
That sounds terrible.
It is mind-numbingly tedious, and it is highly prone to human error, especially when that staff member is stressed out by the demands of the ongoing trial.
Yeah, you definitely do not want your paralegal spending 2 hours debugging website preview images on Facebook while the lead attorney is actively getting ambushed in a cross-examination and desperately needs case files sent over.
That is the exact nightmare scenario.
Right.
So by automating the metadata and the technical SEO, the digital infrastructure ensures that the firm always looks polished and remains highly visible to search engines, completely in the background.
It just running quietly on its own?
Exactly. It maintains the digital plumbing so the humans can focus on the legal strategy.
Okay, so that covers the technical maintenance. But there is another massive variable we need to look at, which is the sheer unpredictability of time in the legal profession.
Oh, time is the ultimate enemy here.
Because it's not just about keeping the website functional, is it? It's about keeping the firm's communication active.
Right. Time is the enemy of consistency in a law firm. The court schedule is a notoriously chaotic ecosystem.
I can imagine.
You might go into the courthouse thinking a simple motion hearing will take, 45 minutes, and you end up stuck in sidebars waiting on the judge or dealing with unexpected delays for the entire day.
It's completely out of the attorney's control. The judge's docket just dictates reality.
It does. And if your firm's digital communication strategy, like publishing updates, sharing legal insights, maintaining a social presence, if all of that relies on you or your human staff finding a quote-unquote spare moment to manually hit publish.
Let me guess, it just doesn't happen.
Right, your communication is going to become incredibly erratic. You will only be marketing your firm when the court system randomly allows you a moment to breathe.
Which is no way to run a brand. I mean, you are essentially letting the opposing counsel and the judge dictate your firm's marketing schedule.
And algorithms punish erratic behavior. Search engines and social platforms, they prioritize consistency.
They want you posting regularly.
Exactly. This is where the concept of scheduled content publishing becomes a survival tool rather than just a convenience.
Ah, I see.
The infrastructure ensures that professional communication continues to flow across digital channels on a strict optimal schedule, completely independent of how chaotic the real-world court schedule gets.
So the firm's public updates don't have to mirror the unpredictability of the judge's docket.
Exactly.
By handing off this routine digital grunt work, the site performance, the brand consistency, the publishing schedules, what we are really watching is a firm achieving true workflow continuity.
Workflow continuity is the critical threshold, and once you cross it, the entire business biology of the firm changes.
It's essentially like hiring a tireless digital ghost manager that just lives in the servers.
Oh, I like that. A ghost manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the lawyer is downtown in the courtroom fighting the actual legal battle. The human staff back at the office are executing high-value human work, talking to anxious clients, preparing complex case files, doing nuanced legal research.
Okay.
And meanwhile, this digital ghost manager is outside the building, making sure the storefront is shining, the neon sign is lit, the promotional flyers are handed out, and the public image is absolutely flawless.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that ghost manager analogy perfectly captures the long-term practice management advantages we see when a firm adopts this level of infrastructure.
How so?
Well, it creates a series of cascading economic and psychological benefits that fundamentally alter how the firm operates.
Walk me through that cascade. Because if this ghost manager is handling all the digital plumbing, that means the human staff isn't wasting hours on it. That has to have a massive impact on the firm's actual bottom line.
Oh, it directly impacts revenue through a severely reduced administrative burden. In a law firm, time is the literal inventory. You sell your time and your expertise.
Right, the billable hour.
Exactly. Every single hour that an attorney or a paralegal spends fiddling with website updates, troubleshooting a broken link, or trying to remember to post an article is an hour that is permanently lost.
You can't get it back.
No, it cannot be billed to a client. It cannot be used to win a case.
It's just an economic drain. You are paying premium legal salaries for basic web administration.
By automating those tasks, that time is instantly recaptured and redirected back into billable, high-margin client work.
So they make more money doing what they're actually good at.
Right. The firm becomes mathematically more profitable without changing its pricing or taking on a single new client.
That's huge.
But when they do decide to take on more clients, this infrastructure provides the second massive advantage, which is scalability without overhead.
Scalability is one of those business buzzwords that gets thrown around until it loses its meaning. How does it actually apply to a law firm using automated infrastructure?
So in a traditional service business, growth equals pain.
Growth equals pain. Okay.
Historically, as a firm's caseload grows, their administrative burden grows at the exact same rate. You land more clients, which means you need more communication, a larger digital presence, and more marketing to sustain that new tier of business.
Makes sense.
In the past, the only way to handle that increased volume was to hire more administrative staff just to keep the lights on.
Which is incredibly expensive. I mean, you're taking on salaries, healthcare benefits, training time, office space. The profit margins shrink even as the top-line revenue goes up.
Exactly. But with a system like MoreMax.net acting as the foundational infrastructure, the firm breaks that historical cycle.
How? Just by automating the busy work.
Right. A firm can double its caseload and dramatically scale its practice, and the software simply absorbs the increased digital workload automatically.
Oh, wow.
The ghost manager does not ask for a raise, it doesn't need health insurance, and it doesn't get overwhelmed when the firm gets busy.
So the firm grows its revenue, but the administrative costs stay entirely flat.
Exactly.
That is a massive competitive advantage over a firm doing things the old-fashioned way. But there is a third piece to this puzzle that we haven't touched on yet, and it might actually be the most important because it deals with the actual people the firm is trying to help. We have to talk about client confidence.
Yeah, client psychology is the hidden variable in all of this. Dealing with a law firm is rarely a joyous occasion.
Nobody wants to need a lawyer.
Right. It is almost always a high-stress, high-stakes situation for the client. They are facing a divorce, a massive corporate lawsuit, or a criminal charge. They're in an incredibly vulnerable position.
They are handing their life or their business over to an attorney and just hoping for the best.
And because the legal process is so opaque to the average person, clients look for proxy signals to tell them if they're in safe hands.
Proxy signals like what?
Well, if a client is anxious about their case and they see the firm's online presence suddenly go silent for a month, or they go to the website to find a phone number and the site is down because the attorney is tied up in a trial.
It creates immediate panic.
Immediate panic.
It's human nature. The client's brain immediately jumps to the worst-case scenario. They start wondering, if my lawyer can't even keep their website updated, are they really paying attention to the details of my case? Are they dropping the ball on my future too?
Yes. The digital presence is a proxy for competence. A steady, highly professional, perfectly maintained digital presence actively reassures clients.
It's like a calming mechanism.
Exactly. It signals to them that the firm is stable. It tells them the firm is well-resourced and operating smoothly, even when their specific lawyer is entirely unreachable in court. The consistency of the digital brand acts as a psychological anchor for client trust.
It projects an aura of total control. I mean, even if the reality behind the scenes is a chaotic, stressful trial schedule, the client only sees a polished, unshakable institution.
Which is why operational efficiency in this context isn't just about saving a few minutes here and there to optimize a spreadsheet. It is fundamentally about protecting the firm's reputation and maximizing its capacity to actually serve the people who need them.
So what does this all mean? When we zoom out and look at all these moving parts, the intense hidden strain on an attorney's mental bandwidth, the automation of SEO and publishing, the workflow continuity, the economics of scaling without overhead, what is the core philosophy we're really looking at?
The core philosophy is, it's really a direct translation of what makes a great lawyer in the first place. Lawyers, by their very nature and training, thrive on preparation and precision.
Right.
You do not walk into a courtroom unprepared. You do not leave your opening statements or your cross-examination strategy to chance. The craft itself demands absolute rigor.
The stakes are just too high for anything less than perfectionism.
And what platforms like MoreMax.net do is simply take those exact same principles, preparation and precision, and extend them to the practice management side of the house.
They automate the rigor.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that the business operations must be handled with the exact same level of exacting standard as the legal arguments themselves. It's about ensuring the firm runs at full strength, maintaining its momentum and its pristine reputation, no matter where the attorney happens to be standing at any given moment.
It's taking the perfectionism of the courtroom and finally applying it to the digital storefront. Which brings us to a bigger question for anyone listening today. Because regardless of what specific field or industry you work in, we all have our own version of the courtroom.
We really do.
We all have that place where our specific craft demands our absolute, undivided attention.
This raises an important question that extends far beyond just the legal profession. We've established how automating preparation and precision can maintain a law firm's reputation and anchor client trust, all while the primary talent is completely disconnected, fighting a battle in litigation.
Right.
They are entirely off the grid, but the business continues to glow and grow.
The ghost manager is keeping the theater running while you deliver the monologue. So for you, listening to this right now, I want you to think about your own daily reality. Where is your mental bandwidth being drained?
That's the real takeaway.
What are the invisible background maintenance tasks, your own version of digital grunt work, that are actively pulling you away from the high-value work you actually want to be doing?
If this level of digital infrastructure is rapidly becoming the baseline standard for operational continuity in the legal world, what other high-stakes, highly specialized professions are losing out right now? Who else out there is hemorrhaging trust, bleeding billable hours, or stalling their own growth simply by not treating their digital storefront with the exact same reverence and automation as they treat their actual craft?
Because at the end of the day, you cannot deliver the monologue of a lifetime if you are constantly looking over your shoulder to make sure the theater doors haven't fallen off their hinges.